So, it is finally time for my first ever game review here on this new channel, and I can't think of a better game to kick this off with than Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is a game I've been playing pretty obsessively over the past couple of weeks in preparation for this very video. So, without further ado, here's my review. It's not something that people talk about very much, but within Nintendo there are actually multiple separate game development studios. Believe it or not, Nintendo isn't just one big monolithic development house. As it turns out, there are actually quite a few development divisions and sub-studios within the company. Unfortunately, all of these teams have unwieldy names like Nintendo SPD Kyoto Group No. 1 and Nintendo EAD Tokyo Software Development Group No. 2, but whether you know it or not, you probably have your favorites. One of my favorites is Nintendo EAD Tokyo, the team responsible for both Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2, Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario 3D World, and now Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Wii U. For those who aren't familiar, the Captain Toad concept originated as a minigame in 3D World before being spun into its own full-fledged game here. Basically, here's how it works. You play as Captain Toad, a character who can't jump, can't punch, can barely run, and has no air control whatsoever. Basically, just imagine playing any recent 3D Mario game without the ability to jump, and you'll have some idea of how helpless Captain Toad is by comparison. What this means from a gameplay perspective is that in most situations, your only option is to outsmart enemies or, more frequently, the environment to reach the end of every level. Along the way, there's obstacles to navigate, things to collect, and basically everything you'd expect from a Nintendo platformer, just no jumping. Put simply, it's a puzzle game, but it's Nintendo's idea of a puzzle game, which is to say, a puzzle game with everything frustrating about puzzle games stripped out of it. One of the things I think modern-day Nintendo games have nailed is difficulty, and Captain Toad is no exception. A 7-year-old could pick up this game, run straight to the end of every level, ignore every collectible, and still have a great time with it, but at the same time, an adult can play the exact same level and have a completely different experience with it, collecting every gem and hidden item that's hidden in the stage itself. By the same token, the difficulty curve in this game is excellent. Few, if any, of the puzzles ever come across as too easy, but conversely, I never found myself completely stumped or frustrated. It's a game full of moments where you'll encounter a puzzle, furrow your eyebrows for exactly the right amount of time before eventually smiling as you figure it out. Just like Super Mario 3D World before it, which was one of my favorite games of 2013, Captain Toad is a masterclass in game balance and is, to me, very close to the perfect difficulty, which is a really big accomplishment in a puzzle game like this one. That said, a game like this would be pointless if the levels weren't any good, but luckily it's hard to remember a single stage that wasn't fantastic. The amount of variety is staggering, both visually and conceptually, from classic blue sky, green grass stages and areas made entirely of gold, to stages inspired by Donkey Kong and pachinko machines. This has to be among the least boring level sets ever created for a video game. No two stages are alike, and it's accomplished through a very clever mix of all new content and assets recycled from 3D World. That sense of constant newness also extends to the gameplay. Each stage contains at least one idea that you never see repeated anywhere else in the game and is completely unique to that level. Not all of the stages are simply puzzles either. There are moments of legitimately challenging Twitch gameplay buried in there too. The few ideas Captain Toad does bring back from 3D World are frequently implemented better here than they were in the first game, specifically the double cherry, which makes duplicates of Toad, is used in some really clever puzzle designs here that far exceed anything from 3D World's similar sections. If you've been paying any attention at all during this review, you've probably also noticed that this game is unbelievably beautiful. Everything from the super saturated color scheme to the lighting to environmental effects like water and lava is as fun, expressive, and colorful as possible. It kind of feels like 2014 was the year Nintendo realized that they have some of the best art designers in the business and began really showing off that fact, with the best example probably being the gorgeous slow-motion replays that were added to Mario Kart 8. Captain Toad has its own version of this. By pressing the X button, you can zoom in super close to the level at any time, exposing the preposterous amount of detail on display here. It's one of the prettiest games I've played all year, and if nothing else, it is worth seeing just to see what Nintendo is like when they're at the top of their form. One of my favorite things about Captain Toad is how the game seems focused on having as little tedium as possible, and I think one of the best examples of this is the 3 hidden gems on every stage. Now, say you collect a few gems and die before reaching the end of a level. Those gems actually stay collected when you respawn, reducing the amount of backtracking you have to do to basically nil. Even the ways the gamepad's touchscreen is used, while not hugely innovative, are incorporated as unobtrusively as possible. Parts of some levels are constructed out of touchstones, which are these huge sliding blocks that you move with the touchscreen, and cleverly, anytime you touch the touchscreen, your finger's location is mirrored on the TV itself, and you don't have to tap precisely on a block to move it, you can actually just slide your finger onto it to activate it, meaning that it's possible to play through entire touchscreen levels without ever having to look down at the Wii U gamepad. It's little details like this that set EAD Tokyo's games apart and make them so easy to recommend, and Captain Toad is thankfully no exception. Another thing that's made EAD Tokyo's recent titles stand out for me personally is their replayability. Now, I'm not a completionist, and frankly, I rarely finish games at all, and the few times I do, I almost never go back to them once they're done. The only consistent exceptions to this rule for me have been EAD Tokyo's Mario games, so Galaxy, Galaxy 2, 3D Land, 3D World, and now Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. A huge part of that is the addition of the 3 gems on each stage. Just like the green stars in Super Mario 3D World, the gems draw you to compulsively return to every level to collect them all. However, the gems are actually a huge improvement on 3D World's green stars in one significant way. Because Captain Toad's levels are so small, you'll never find yourself scouring over these enormous stages trying to find one hidden collectible, because the whole level and therefore all the info you need is right there in front of you. It's yet another way Captain Toad cuts down on tedium and maximizes the amount of time you get to spend actually solving puzzles and having fun. Now, as if that wasn't enough, there's actually a 4th major collectible, a special objective that unlocks after you complete a level for the first time. It might be something like sneak past all the Shy Guys without getting spotted, or find the hidden golden mushroom, or defeat every enemy, but almost all of them are unique to the specific level they're in reference to. It's a great addition that gives you yet another reason to go back and play every single stage of the game one more time. On top of that, and I'm not going to give anything away here, but just like the games that preceded it, there is more content in this package than it initially lets on, and when you factor in that it's releasing at $39.99, it starts to become one of the best value propositions on the platform. If I had to come up with one caveat about Captain Toad, it would be a warning about the camera controls. Now, it's completely manual, which 95% of the time is totally fine, but it does result in the occasional situation where Toad or Toadette becomes a little hard to keep track of in some of the game's more labyrinthine stages. I also would have liked to see a bit more variety in the boss encounters. There's essentially only 2 boss encounters in the entire game, but each one is repeated just enough times that it's hard not to wish there was something else there instead. Still, the meat of the game is the puzzle boxes themselves, and thankfully, every single one of them is worth your time. There's no such thing as a perfect video game, but Nintendo EAD Tokyo has made some of the closest things to perfect video games I've found yet, and Captain Toad lives up to that incredibly high standard. For me, a really great game can be more than just a fun experience, it can also be a chance to get inside the minds of brilliant game designers, and more often than not, that's exactly what Captain Toad feels like. So that's what I thought of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Obviously, I liked it a lot. It's just a really easy game to recommend to anyone who's a fan of 3D Land or 3D World or any of the Galaxy games or just good Nintendo platformers in general. It's, I just think if you have a Wii U, there's no reason not to pick this up, especially at $39.99, which is what it's going to retail for at retail and digitally when it comes out this Friday, December 5th, I believe, both digitally and at retail. Just so cute and so colorful, yet also completely nails all the gameplay fundamentals you'd want out of a good puzzle platformer. Yeah, I don't know. I already have said enough probably, but I really, really love this game. If you have any questions about Captain Toad, please let me know in the comments. That's what I'm here for. I just want to answer it and let you know and get back to playing it, which is what I'm going to do right after this video is done. But before I do that, I want to thank Crunchyroll for sponsoring this. If you go to crunchyroll.com/Babylonian, you can get a free 30-day premium membership to their site, which means you can watch every anime on that site in full HD, 1080p. You can watch shows as soon as they come out in Japan with a simulcast feature, so that means you can watch stuff like Naruto or Log Horizon or Fairy Tail. Not all of those are cute and colorful, but some of them are in full HD with professionally done subtitles the same day they're released in Japan, which is just a no-brainer, I feel like, if you like anime at all. And yeah, you get 30 days free if you sign up with the URL below, and you also help support me and support my videos and support everything that's happening on this channel. So yeah, that's enough from me. I'm gonna go play more Captain Toad, but I will see you guys later this week. I've got more stuff coming, some of it Captain Toad related, some of it not, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So yeah, see you guys next time.